very much. May the God bless us all. Thank you. Balevi Mwanawasa, what is the Balevi Mwanawasa? Apena tepo tuluire. Okay, we'll recognize you, Balevi Mwanawasa. Okay. Officer Bandi, whenever I'm coming here, I'm ready to pay the schools here, so that we don't have issues.
All right, and so it's time. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it's time for our Q&A. And in keeping with the fact that we are in Lusaka province, we will start with Lusaka province. I believe there's a roving microphone that is making its way through for the questions to be asked. So for purposes of us being able to identify where you're from and just get a context, we'll ask that you identify yourself by name and which institution you're from, as the young people who are asking the questions this afternoon. All right, if we could hear the question that's being asked.
Thank you very much for this opportunity, His Excellency, and all the distinguished members of Parliament, all the people present. I'm Nanakao Rukutia. I'm representing Women in Global Health Organization. My question is, it has been estimated that it will take over 286 years for us to achieve gender equity. As women in global health Zambia, one of our objectives is to add a voice to the existing voices on gender equity and equality. So our question is, how is inclusive to the policy that is going to be launched today, this specific aspect to the policy covered related to gender equity between young women and men? Thank you.
Thank you. Very good question. Perhaps we'll take 3 questions and allow for His Excellency to then respond, and then we'll take the next 3. Our next question, those with the roving microphones, please look out for the hands that are being raised. I've been advised that there will be questions that will be floated by the universities, so that time is coming. Okay, one person at a time. We have someone who's currently asking the question.
Okay, thank you so much. So, my name is Edgar, representing the youth from Central Province. My question is, what is the government doing in line with addressing grievances, which on average are 29% and more than 50% in other districts, and also early marriages? Of course, I take note and acknowledge that our president is one of the champions as regards to the fight against teenage pregnancies in the African Union. So that's my question.
Thank you.
For those that haven't gotten it, my question is, what is the government doing in line with addressing high rates of teenage pregnancies, which in average at 29% and in other districts 50%, and also early marriages, which in average are at 80%.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Next question. We have a hand. Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mofia. His Excellency, I have a question for you in relation to this year's theme. Seeing how Zambia has developed over the years and how the youths have varied over time, what advice do you have to give to the youths in this room and in this generation on how best you think they can be the change in Zambia?
Mr. President, shall we take another question, or would you be happy to proceed to answer this? Let's get some more questions. The microphones, I believe where's the next microphone?
Hello? There's a question from here. From the gallery, there's a question.
Okay. Proceed with the question, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is coming from the Lusaka Resource Center. My questions are for Your Excellency. I come from a constituency where there are a lot of drug addicts. So my question is, what is the government doing in restoring the state of these young youths that are drug addicts? Because many of them are caught by the police, taken into custody and released after a few weeks. So in the same state. So what is being done so that the youth can truly be changed? Because if we just look on a broad aspect, if we don't go in the compounds to see what's really happening, we will be having results that are not so effective. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. To rephrase, it's a query on what the government will be doing to address the issue of drug addiction within the communities. Could have the next question, please.
There's a question from up here.
Okay, question from the upper deck.
All right, there's a question from up here, from the gallery. Your Excellency, sir, we appreciate what your government is doing, especially where CTF is concerned.
Your name, please.
My name is Joseph Indaba, coming from the University of Zambia, 30-year law student, Omsasu Finance Minister. Your Excellency, sir, we appreciate what your government is doing, especially where CTF is concerned. Reports have come on how so many students, so many youths are being helped to go for programs that are helping them through CTF. Our question, Your Excellency, is what is your government doing about universities that are not covered by the law school? If your government is considering to cover those universities and students through the CTF program. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question.
Okay, there's a question here.
Mr. President, I've got two questions to ask. Number one, you realize that Northwestern province to reach Lusaka covers about 1,000 kilometers. And of challenges to come and pursue our studies coming from Chakuma, Zambezi, Kereng, to reach Lusaka to attain higher qualifications. What is the delivery plan in terms of giving us a university in Northwestern so that our people gain access to education in Northwestern? Additionally, Mr. President, the previous government promised the good people of Kabombo a mathematics and science university, of which even land was given by our traditional leadership. From that time up to date, nothing has been done, despite Professor Kankumo going there for a groundbreaking ceremony. But what is our government now doing in implementing the wrongs that the previous government did and promised the good people of Kabombo? I salute you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. And we'll please ask that you ask one question each. And also, if we could ask that if there is anyone, one moment, is there anyone in the audience who is a sign language interpreter? We had an oversight on that part and would like to have someone to assist those of us who are hearing impaired with interpretation. A sign language interpreter, if you are in the auditorium, please make your way up to the front.
Good afternoon, everyone. Humphrey Hamonga is my name. Representing the people and youths of Central Province, specifically Mumba District. One of the key policies in the UPND manifesto was on entrepreneurship. And we appreciate what the government is doing through the CEEC and also the CTF. Now, the question to the President that I want to ask is what specific measures are being considered to streamline the bureaucratic processes and create conducive environment for youth in business, which includes temporary tax relief or exemption just to facilitate their transition into sector and also help them grow. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the question.
Thank you so much.
Get one more.
My name is Ian Banda. Zambia. Thank you. My question is, Mr. President, this year's theme speaks of Zambia is to be the change. Just want to find out how you are ensuring that youth with disabilities are being
Your name, please. Thank you.
My name is Eston Zero from Cavendish University. My questions are, first of all, you have been consistent to mention the constitutional reforms. So what is your view on introducing term and age limits on member of parliament, councillors and mayors and other executive government positions such as ministers and the permanent secretaries to increase youth participation in government? And my other question is, what are you putting in place to ensure that in the future Zambians are the ones who will be exploiting natural resources rather than...
Okay, one question, please.
Foreign investment. Thank you.
Thank you. One question, please. That is the standing rule.
Thank you so much. I'm here talking about a question. My name is Gibson Zulu. Excuse me. My name is Gibson Zulu from Cavendish University, Zambia. As a very concerned youth, I'm speaking on behalf of our mothers and fathers, like our old mamas and papas. Like Your Excellency, Mr. President, I have a courtesy to Your Excellency, believing that this is not a coincidence. I must believe that you know, in 1999 we had people who had voluntarily retired from government, and up to now, those women, old mothers and fathers, are still crying to government, asking for their pay, because up to now, they haven't gotten paid their monies. What is your good government doing about it? One last more, thank you so much.
Thank you. One question, sir. One question each. One question. Thank you. Thank you.
My name is Ruth Ngoma. I'm from the Copper Belt, Chigona to be precise. And my question, before I ask my question, I believe being the change starts with accountability. And as government and youth, that's the space that we're lacking in. So my question is, what mechanisms are in place to monitor and evaluate the effectiveness of the youth policies and ensure accountability to the people, to the young people and society at large? Because that's the space gap that we have between government and youth, because there's no accountability put in place.
Thank you.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zambia, His Excellency Nation Youth Indaba. I am Johnson from Copper Belt University. I would like first to thank you for the massive work that you've been doing for us, giving us your allowance and so many things that I can't explain. The message from Copper Belt, me being their representative, is that they are asking for an ambulance. And my question is, setting the stage as the Zambia celebrates its 60th year of independence, Mr. President, reflecting on our national journey, how do you envision the role of innovation and industry in shaping Zambian future? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, Mr. President.
We'll have one last question for now, and then we'll get a response. Your name, please?
Audrey Chizogo, coming from Voice for Youth in the community of Zambia. Yes, and my question is, we are applying for loans from DECO, and then when the names of applicants are out, we are asked by the people saying who recommended you. So my question is, who is supposed to recommend you for us to access these agricultural loans? Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Mr. President? Let's hear some responses. We haven't heard any responses yet. We'll now give an opportunity to His Excellency the President. He's taken quite a few questions, and to ensure that they're all well catered for, he'll be giving some responses at this time.
Thank you very much. Viva youth, viva. Viva Bamonko, viva. Viva Bamoma, viva. Viva youth. Thank you very much. Let me just acknowledge the presence of my colleagues in cabinet, the Minister of the Youth, ministers that are present here, but also acknowledge the UN system in Zambia, my colleague, Madam Tali, who is seated with me there, and I see our cooperating partners that may be here, their excellencies, our commissioners, and if you like, ambassadors, also our sponsors, supporters, Jane University, Zanaco, Trade Kings, and many, many others. But more importantly, Vayufi. Vayufi. Thank you very much. Yes, my old university, Viva Unza! Viva Monko! Of course, all the other universities, Mulungushi, Cavendish, Levi Mwanawasa, Copperbelt University, colleges, Hebron, everyone, NIPA, NRDC, all of you, including the ordinary youth in our villages, representing villagers like me, and all those from Kukomboni, everybody, all the youth that are here, because the body of the youth is one, isn't it? The youth in diversity, that's a message. But also the ministry colleagues, secretary to cabinet, and all your central government colleagues, local government, quasi-government, private sector, Kaufela, everybody. Let me express, Minister, how delighted I am to be here today amongst these youth, our own family members. These are our family members. I must also say, not to give a speech because I've been saying a lot, affecting the youth. Youth Day, Women's Day, today in Parliament, I said a lot. And thank you, Minister, for saving me from repeating the same things. But simply to underscore that we on this continent, Zambia, SADC, East African Community, West African Community, the Community of Central African States, Horn of Africa, northern part of Africa, we have taken a decision that Africa's population, 1.3, 1.4 billion people, the majority of those are the youth, yourselves. And we have taken a decision as your elected leaders that we will not consider that population profiling as an issue anymore. We consider the majority of the youth that constitute our population to be a great asset for Africa. You are a great asset for Africa, for our countries. And we will recognize you, your age, your energy, the skills that you hold, the potential, the opportunity, and we say the sky is no longer the limit. Your opportunities are limitless. And this government, and I know what I'm talking about, other governments on the African continent have agreed that we will give special attention to our youth, the youth of Zambia, male or female, the youth of Africa, and utilize this asset to accelerate the economic development of our individual countries and the continent as a whole. And that we don't want our youth to be taking risks, jumping on balloons, on canoes, crossing to go to Europe. We want to work with you to deepen the opportunities for the youth, for the owners of this continent, the young people within Africa. That is an important realization by political leaders. But the English say it takes two to tango. For the governments to support the youth of Africa, Zambia, Africa, we need the youth to come on board with full force, with full vigor, depth, diversity. That's my message to you. This government will do more than it's doing today to support the youth of Zambia. That's why we have brought about many facilities you have heard already the ministers talked about. In Eastern Province, a few days ago, I used the Youth Day to pronounce that so many of the facilities, instruments, business activities, opportunities for the youth, we are going to drop any and all taxes and duties so that we make them cheaper, including music, including sports, including business opportunities run by the young people. This government will give you support. Training, education is crucial. And thank you for the scholarships, Nation University. Thank you for the scholarships. And I've already whispered to the Minister of Sports that those scholarships that are coming through the President, they will be spread across the 10 provinces so that each province has an opportunity to send one of our youth to train in the various fields, in the credible universities, good universities in India and elsewhere. Take those opportunities seriously. Also sovera na opportunities. Muleumva? Uje mule kutika? Mayufi muleumva? Aha. There is time for everything. When it's time for school, focus on school. Sports, excel in the sports. That's why you've seen now Zambia is minting medals right now in the sports competitions going on, because this government is investing in all the sports spheres, if you like. There is no special sport. Before it was only football. Now it's any and all the sports, including martial arts, my beloved sport. Yes, everything. The brain develops from different angles, and physical part of it is critical. Yes, Levi Mwanawasa. Viva Levi Mwanawasa! Viva Levi Mwanawasa University! Muzianka kaili. Thank you very much. Thank you. Let me address the questions that have been asked. I will attempt to answer the questions that have been asked. I also want to encourage my colleagues, the ministers that are here, my UN friend there, and also senior government colleagues that are here. Secretary of Cabinet is there, and the permanent secretaries are here, but also anyone else. This government believes that running a country is not an exclusive right of us in government, but everybody in a team spirit. So anyone has a better answer, partners of ours, you are free to come and answer. Namakao, gender equity, inclusiveness in the policy, the youth policy, and in the government. I have been preaching this message the last 10 days or so, that gender inclusiveness, equity, fair treatment is very important. Within the constitutional and legal limits that this government has, let me start from there, has appointed so many women vice president. Some of you are not aware that the appointment of a vice president through a running mate is an exclusive legal right of the presidential candidate. Only him or her, whoever is the presidential candidate, appoints a running mate. This president decided to appoint a woman running mate, and that's why you have a woman vice president. Isn't it? Speaker of the National Assembly, the first ever Speaker of the National Assembly, woman speaker, has been appointed by us and this president. Chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Judge President of the Constitutional Court, capable woman, quiet, very quiet, but capable woman. Permanent secretaries, under the hand of the presidents, by the law, by the Constitution. So many women permanent secretaries. So many, like never before. A few days ago, I was swearing in 5 state councils. 5 state councils. Out of these 5, the 3 are women. 3 are women. Definitely we are doing everything within our legal, constitutional legal limits. But we can do more. We can do more. I'm the first one to admit we can do more. And to facilitate us doing more, not just at the top level, but also at the lower level, grassroots level. And that's where it matters the most. We want to see more councillors who are women, young people, women, youth, at council level, chamber, council chairman, mayor, youth, male and female. Parliament, we want to see more youth, women, youth, those who live with disabilities. And cabinet, obviously, it will become easier when we get cabinet to come from outside Parliament. Currently, the cabinet comes from inside Parliament, and there's a limitation there. So now it requires we to support this government, which is pro-youth, male and female, which is pro-women. Of course, pro-family. Family is male and female, isn't it? Can you have a family of only women? Can you produce children with only women? You need men. So that's a family. So to facilitate that, the president and our government is pushing for constitutional amendments which will allow for proportional representation to bring more women, to bring more youth, male and female youth, to bring more differently abled. There you are. This is a role and a job for all of us, not just the head of state. Our hands are tied now, but we do our best within the limitations. I noticed one of our political colleagues, when I talked about it, this message, he said, HH, you can do more. Yes, we'll do more. But we want not just the goodwill of the president, but also legal rights, constitutional rights. That's why we're asking for it. I do believe the gender policy, the youth policy that we're launching understands and will address those issues. If it doesn't, I do believe it does. If not, we'll enhance it because we are talking the same language. Eddie Kalua, Central Province, teenage pregnancy, early marriages. I've been propounding on this. Even this morning, I was talking about it. Early marriage, teenage pregnancies, these are not things we want to see in our communities. We want a girl child to spend more years in school. More years in school. Even those that are orphans, even those that come from challenged families, even those that have disabilities. And your government is clear about that. The policies, the laws are very clear around there. But one of the things that allows for that to happen is the free education. Free education, very important. Free education has enabled more children, more youth, more women to stay in school. When we were in opposition, we were talking about it. Our competitors will say, for free education. Here it is now. The test of the pudding is in the eating. It's here. It is here. That is a facilitation, genuine investment. I am a believer. We are believers in education. It's the best investment. It's the best equalizer. Child background doesn't matter. You all sit in the same class. I came from the village myself. I only came to Lusaka to go to University of Zambia. Only. Otherwise, I would have been in the village. What brought me into town was to go to UNZA, was education. And just that has allowed me to stand here as the president of this country. Education only, nothing else. So we will give it to you, the youth. As central government, churches that run schools, banks, all of those who sponsor kids in school, you're doing a great job. That's the right thing to do. That's the best investment to make. Best inheritance, best equalizer. No question about it. And I tell my kids, they shouldn't look at what HH has done in terms of assets. That's nothing. It can be wiped out anytime. But the best inheritance is education that they can receive. And we assure you, our youth will give it to you in abundance, in quality as well. That's why we're employing more teachers. That is why we're building more classrooms. That's why we're building, if you like, base such as technology platforms for education, e-education, internet, connectivity. Now, even our youth in the village can scan what's going on in the world. When we came into government, we talked about bringing in internet, Starlink. Again, people say, I am Bakudala, 8 months down the road from the day we pronounced Starlink is here. It's just a small gadget. You can carry it anywhere you go and you'll be accessible. Very important. What else? What else? With that platform, it means the kids can see, the girl child can see the importance of staying in school and not to go the other way. It's time for everything. But when there's a pregnancy, and in Livingston I was saying that she was seated there, I said, a girl gets pregnant because they want to be pregnant. It's not a mistake. Other than rape cases, any girl child who gets pregnant early is because they wanted to be pregnant. Let's not fudge around that issue. Let's not fudge around that issue. Yeah? Let's not fudge around that issue. But yes, rape cases, that's exceptional. Abuse in the family, where an elderly male in the family abuses a young child, yes, that's not a desire of the kid. So those exceptions taken, the rest is my message. When it's school time, girl child, stay in school. You will find leisure after school. But in case you made a mistake, so you say, in case you were raped, in case you were forced by an elderly male in the house, abused, this government has done what is called a re-entry policy. A re-entry policy. The girl will raise her child. After the child is old enough, the girl will go back to school. And the government will support that girl to continue with her school. Yeah. I'm being reminded that there are people in our political dispensation talking about abolishing free education. will you agree to any leader who comes and abolishes free education? Will you agree? Will you agree to allow for meal allowances to be removed again? I want to see the hands of the youth who want free education to be removed. Let me see the hands of those youth. Let me see the hands of the youth who want free education to continue. Mwapasa A+, A++. Do you want meal allowances to continue? Let's see the hands. Mwapasa A+. So the youth, you determine who serves you, who governs you, who works for you. Do not allow anyone to come and take away free education. Do not allow anyone to come and take away meal allowances. Also, I must answer that question at this point. There was a question on bursaries and those things. This government will continue expanding bursaries and meal allowances to more universities going forward. Mulungushi, you have heard, not Mulungushi, Levi Mwanawasa, you have heard me. You have heard me. So let's take that question. Let's take that question. So, zikomo kwambiri. Kale bwangu. Kale. Vakopala. Kale bwangu. Valevi. Kale bwangu. Kale. Thank you very much. Let's move on, Vamoma. Let's move on. We know what this government is doing is not enough. We know that. This government inherited difficulties, a lot of difficulties. The debt mountain, we're working to dismantle. The economy had declined to minus 2.8% GDP growth per year. Within 2 years, we're bottoming it up last year to 4.3% growth. This year, if it wasn't for the drought, we were going to have the largest harvest in this country. But the drought came. But with all these challenges, the youth are at the center of this government. The youth are at the center of this government. And we'll do more. Mulekutika? Bushe mulekutika? Vayufi, mulekutika? Very good. Early marriages. I can only render advice. First, two things. There's a law. You marry a girl who is underage, you go to jail. You marry an underage girl, you go to jail. So, Monk, wait for the girl to mature. Two, for the girl child, the youth, wait for marriage time. It will come. You will even find better monks. I'm not joking. Patience. You wait for the right time. Wait. Build yourself first. Make yourself worthy something. Skills. I won't say more, but it's criminal to take a child in marriage. Parents, now we are looking at how to arrest the parents as well, who are allowing young girls to go to school. Because sometimes young people can't make the right decisions when they're young. And it's fair, that's true. But where are the parents? Where are the guardians when those things are happening? But more, number three, let's have more education. More education given to our girls, but also to the males. Girls don't marry themselves. They are married by males. We males, muichindike. Let's behave ourselves. Honestly, I have one biological daughter. I will not allow anyone to marry her at an early age because I'm a parent. Where are the other parents? Let's work together. Mofia. Advice to the youth, how they can be the change in Zambia. I think I've covered it. Hey, Bamonk, Pembela first, Pembela first, guys, Pembela first. Tien Tlanshan, winner. Ba youth, Bamonk, ba none of you. So, first, be the change yourselves. Zambia at 60. I'm repeating myself. What skills do you hold? Get the skills. That is the framework. That is the minimums. When I say skills, I'm not just talking of UNZA. I'm not talking of Levi Mwanawasa University. I'm not talking of Mulungushon and CBU. I'm talking of any skill, plumbing, carpentry, metal workshop. That's why CDF is giving these skills training, support and facilities. That is why CDF is giving secondary boarding school scholarships at the constituency level. Now I'm repeating the messages I've been giving all along, is to allow the youth to have the skill sets to deliver the change that they're able to. You got me. I'm sure you got me loud and clear. You got me loud and clear. Yes? Now, what else? What else? Take the opportunity that these facilities that are laid before you, CEC, do something gainful. Stay away from alcohol. How can you be the change if you are always dizzy? You are always dizzy. Always dizzy. You can be the change when you are away from drugs and substance abuse. You will be contributing something. Work hard. Be entrepreneurial. Don't go to school just to get a job. The government will give as many jobs, but we want more jobs to come from the private sector. I call those ladies who run banks in our country the women musketeers. They are doing a good job. Most of our banks in this country are run by women, like Mukwandi there. Stand up, let these young people see you. MD Zanako. Trade Kings, stand up. Where is she? She's gone. She's gone. Women who run businesses. I want you guys to aspire to run your own business. I can tell you, it's not nice to use one as an example. I started working for myself. I was 27 years old. Some of you would have been older than me at the time I started running my own business. And I've never looked back. So some of us must work, train to run our own businesses. There is Jane University. He told me he started with $1. Please stand up. He started running his business with $1. $1. and today is offering scholarships. That's how it starts. On our Chisamba ranch, I started with 6 animals. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Today you go there, there are thousands. We start small, always. You can be the change. Be an entrepreneur. Work, train to run your own business. Go to CEC and access the loan. Don't buy a Beamer. When you get a loan, don't buy a Beamer. Don't buy a VX. Yes. Go and buy a capital item, not a consumption item. A nice car is a consumption item. It's just a piece of metal anyway. That's what it is. It's you in your mind who praises that car. It's a fixation in your mind. Look at the usage value of that car. Does it earn you money? No. But you spend money every day. One tire, bang. 5,000 kwacha. That 5,000 kwacha, I would rather you buy a plow and 2 oxen. Yes. The land is there. You want the land is there. Let's be serious. The land is there. This ministry, sir, you have heard, we must facilitate land. Where is gender PS? She's working on that. But the Secretary of Cabinet is there. Good point. Land is plenty. Me, I started doing what I'm doing in the village. I didn't have to pay anything. You don't have to start with a commercial farm of 1,000 hectares. You can start with 1 hectare. 1 hectare, 1 borehole, 1 solar system, 6 meters tank stand, 5,000 liter tank, small solar booster at the bottom. You irrigate 1 hectare and you produce 10 tons of maize. 250 bags, 50 kg bags. You can't eat all of that. You only eat maybe 15, 20 bags. The rest you sell. You're already making money. Start small. That's the way it is. Start small. That's my counsel. Genuine counsel. The rest, it will show you when to move to the next stage. It's clear when to move to the next stage. That's my encouragement to this energetic group of people here. You guys don't know how lucky you are. If I had to start life again now, I'll pull my age down to your age. And I'll be a prolific young person. Now, use our knowledge that if you miss hard work when you are young, you have missed it. So you can be the change. Zambia, 60 years. You can be the... Sorry, I'm moving too fast, madam. I apologize. My brain moves faster than my limbs. Kale, 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 kale. So, hard work, intentional decisions. That's the change. This is a big question you raised. How can you be the change? This is it. Work with other people. Don't work alone all the time. If you ask this gentleman here, he will tell you that he works with the diversity of skills in his universities. We've given you mining licenses. There's the minister. The majority of mining licenses we've given since we came into office, we've given to the youth. But what are they doing? They are moving with licenses in their pockets every day, and they are selling, looking for buyers. Look for partners. You sell your license, you get $50,000, you go and buy a BMW second hand, to buy tires, it's gone. Don't do that. Get a partner. This minister now is looking at how we can support you to mine at your mine. This government. Equipment, legal first, legal mining. Don't be an illegal miner. Equipment, then an off-taker at a fair price. That's what we're looking at now. Big time. I can go on. This question is the biggest question I've been asked today. how can you be the change that you can be? These are the ways, many others. I'm only touching tip of the iceberg. Tip of the iceberg. Work with others. I want to repeat that. I learned to work with others myself at a young age. And I reflect, I said, that was a good decision to find that partner. He brings this value, I bring that value. Don't squabble in the business. You've just started the business and you are fighting. It means you haven't identified the right partner. Minister, when I retire, when I have done my time in politics, thank you to the people of Zambia who have made me serve you in this role as your servant. I want to be a visiting lecturer. And I'll come and lecture for free. I won't ask to be paid. For free. I will come to lecture at one of your universities in India for free. Just to share experiences, life experiences. We learn, we also teach. But learning is a continuous process. So I thought I should illustrate answering these questions, and my friends can pick it up from here. Any minister who wants to pick up a question? The next question was from Kaluga. What is government doing about drug addicts? Drug issues, control, police arrest them, they are back in the street. Who is courageous enough to answer that question? My colleagues. I have many of you. Oh, Minister Mutati is there. I didn't see you. Minister Mutati there, Minister Shakalima, Minister Mines, Minister Transport, Minister Agriculture, Minister Lusaka, Minister Youth, and also my friend, Madam Mutali. Who wants to answer that? Pilato, popular. Pilato, answer that question. Drug addicts. Mike. There is a mic there. Or you use the mobile mic. There you are. Vichi aleisa nomba tuachula sana. That's him. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. Hello, Wagai, easy.
The question, Pilato. One moment. Pilato, 1 moment. The question is on drugs, addicts. What do we do to assist these people? Thank you.
Yes, sir. Hello, Wagai, again in that sungun to our boss, again in Pangation. So easy. So the challenge of drugs and alcohol abuse, I think the primary responsibility rests with the young people ourselves. Because we, the young people, must ask ourselves that what are we developing ourselves to become? The abuse of alcohol, I've never heard of anyone that became so successful because they were drinking a lot of alcohol or smoking a lot of, or abusing a lot of weed. On the part of government, what my ministry is doing, sir, is that we've extended our programming within our youth skills across the country, where we've attracted a lot of young people to be part of the programming, and most of them are doing so at no cost. So we invite as many young people as possible to get involved with what we are doing as a ministry, but also through the youth skill centers that are dotted across the country. The challenge, again, like I said, we can have all these facilities in place. The responsibility is on us as young people. We are the future of this country. And for us to get to the future, we've got to start developing ourselves now. We've got to start working on ourselves now. None of us will succeed by accident. We may get there by accident, but sustainability is the deliberate effort that all of us need to take. So for young people, So the challenge is all of us, the challenge to all of us as young people is, if God allowed us to live for the next 50 years, what are we becoming? Not all of us have a future. A future is not a place where we just enter. No. A future, you've got to design your future now. You've got to start working on your future now. What we refer to as a future is the harvesting of that which you've been planting. So what you're doing now will only determine your future when you begin to reap the fruits or the harvest of what you're planting today. So in responding to that particular question, there are facilities that you can tap into, but the responsibility is you. Just like they say, you can take a horse to the river, but you cannot force that horse to drink water. The facilities are there. You've got to take the initiative. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Pilato. Thank you very much. Thank you for your answer. We could say more. The minister wanted to add more, but I think Pilato has done justice to that question. Yes, the minister may say more later on. Let me just acknowledge also, I was acknowledging the women musketeers running the banks. We also have in the House the Chief Executive of Standard Chartered Banks, Sonny Zulu. Just stand up and wave to the people. Stand up again. Look at the people. Doesn't he look young? Doesn't he look young? But he is the Chief Executive of Standard Chartered Bank in this country. And as Pilato said, one moment guys, one moment. As Pilato said, Sonny decided what he wanted to be and worked very hard. That's why he's there as Chief Executive. So take that as advice. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for being here. The next question was about, Joseph Muteva Unza CDF is good, helping the youth, but there are universities that are not on bursaries, on scholarships can. Okay, guys, let's make progress. Let's make progress. Let's make progress. Can CDF also assist in there? Let me put it this way. CDF is already assisting in the scholarships at the secondary level. I think I explained that. Boarding schools are funded by CDF for the children of the vulnerable. That's a scholarship already. CDF is funding artisanal skills training in a lot of colleges. Last night I was watching graduates or trainees at NOTEC, Northern Technical College in Dola, who are sponsored by CDF on a scholarship of CDF. Great instrument. I have heard people saying, CDF sisebenza. Abantu bankala kuti. In their homes, now the girl child, the male child, the youth are in boarding schools where they couldn't be before the CDF instrument was put in place. And before we increased CDF from 1.6 million Kwacha Peyepe constituencies to 30.6 million. So we have capacitated local communities, taken money to the local communities to make decisions to support education, scholarships, secondary, artisanal skills. Great, great, great instrument indeed. So when you hear somebody in the community saying, CDF sisebenza, muzianka, answer them. And the beneficiaries of CDF, answer. Go on social media to say, CDF is working, I'm one of the beneficiaries. Post. Just post it. Someone will see it. Now, university. Let me give an example. We had a situation in Ikeleng constituency where the bursary component of CDF for secondary schools and for skills training was not utilized because there were not as many kids who needed it. Those who needed it were put on it. There was a residual amount of money. And we made a decision in cabinet to allow Ikeleng constituency to sponsor students away from secondary and skills training into nursing colleges and in universities. So it's already working. It's already working. The question is, first, let it meet the basic minimums. You can't jump to university without secondary education. So secondary first, skills. Remember, in my time as a school leaver, the government only largely paid attention to UNZA. There's only one university there, University of Zambia, government school. Hear me out, guys. Hear me out. Mayufi, hear me out. And if you didn't qualify to go to UNZA, your grades were not good enough. Listen to me, listen to me. Guys, come on, listen to me. Listen to me. You had challenges. Okay, guys, all right. Can I change the psychology of this room today? We are not here to compete with one another. We are here to complement. We are here to also take care of those that are not having the facilities like you are having. Let's allow those also to be heard. You're doing a good job, Babonk. You're doing a good job. But I want to explain that already CDF in certain constituencies is flexible enough when there's a residue to allow for kids in other colleges, nursing schools, NRDC, and others. So I think your question now, Joseph, allows us to apply our minds now. It's a very good question. Can we apply our minds as government colleagues? Local government, Ministry of Education, Ministry of Technology, can we have side meetings after this to strategize how we could mop up some of that money to assist the most needy who may be at a university or at a teacher training college? I think allow us to think through this issue. But what I can assure you is that this government will continue putting more money in education. Every year we will put more money in education because you heard what I said. It's the best thing to do. It's the right thing to do. For the individual, for the family, for the community, for the country. So thank you, Joseph, for raising that issue. We appreciate that. Northwestern Province. Naumva mwane, twamva mwane, kimavanga mwane. Twasanta. Tunasakiri komwane. Twasakira chikuma. Mvwai mwane, mvwai. We got your message. University, Northwestern Province. Let me make my point clear, our point clear here. Every province deserves a public university. You heard me. Every province deserves a public university. We are decentralizing. We can't ask about 5 provinces now that don't have public universities. It's unacceptable. We agree with you. Because we can't expect kids, youth to move from Winilunga, from Ikeleng, to go to Mulungushi University, to go to Levi Mwanawasa University, to go to UNZA. It's difficult. So your government is looking into this matter. And when you hear me say that, you must know already that the planning is already in high gear. But we are waiting for 1 or 2 things. One of them, I must tell you, is to conclude the debt restructuring. Once we've concluded the debt restructuring, it will give us more headroom to do what is right, such as having a public university in every province, because we are one unitary state and all provinces must benefit. Currently we have a distortion. One province will have 3, 4 universities. Another province has none. I think that's a distortion. So thank you for your question there. I want my colleagues to join me in answering questions. You raised two questions which the Master of Ceremony allowed you to do. I don't know how he did it. Maybe he has a sympathy for Northwestern. Technical school in Northwestern Province by PF, but it was not completed. The Minister of Education and Minister of Technology should tag into that issue. But I will lead them that one of the things we decided to do when we came into office, all uncompleted projects, all of them, whether they're in education or agriculture or health, this government is completing them. Okay, guys, come on. Let's move on. Let's do business here. This government has taken a decision that all infrastructure projects that were not completed by previous governments, the worst of them was PF. The worst of them was PF. But including MMD, including UNIP, this government will complete them. That was the question you were asking about an uncompleted technical school or facility in Northwestern Province. Those ministers will attest to that. I would like them to deal with very quickly that aspect of completing infrastructure projects that were not completed and we're already working on them. Two ministers, education and technology. You are seated next to each other. Please go ahead. Take a bite at the cherry. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Mr. President, indeed, as we have said, this year, especially for Sakanima Douglas, MP for Churundu, and Minister of Education. I can hear that they were saying Zangena. Thank you. As you indicated, Mr. President, this year we envisage to complete all hostels which were left behind. That is 10 years ago. And then the other secondary schools which are left incomplete, to the tune of 64, I think we are revising the contracts which the Attorney General has already written to us. So there is a budget of 254 million to that cause. That is UNZA, CBU, and the other infrastructure that has remained. But let me just take this moment to say this, Mr. President. I heard Levi Mwanawasa students talking about a bursary. The mistake which was done by the previous government was that they wrote a statutory instrument putting Mwanawasa University under the Ministry of Health. And so my colleague and myself, we agreed that we are bringing that issue to Cabinet so that Levi Mwanawasa reverts back to the Ministry of Education. And then all those will follow. All public universities are entitled to the loan scheme. So that was where the certain instrument in the Ministry of Health getting the Levi Mwanawasa from the Ministry of Education. Legally speaking, they are supposed to fall under the Ministry of Education according to the University Act. So we are working on that, sir. The other issue is that this Kabumpo University, yes, it had advanced. There was a loan which was supposed to be acquired, I think, from Saudi Arabia. By the previous government, after signing, they were supposed to put upfront money. They never did that. And you know, when they cancel that, trying to go back, we must be systematic as well. Otherwise, yes, there were so many groundbreaking issues by the previous government. They also did the groundbreaking in Western Province. Nothing materialized. And Luapula as well. All of a sudden, somebody said we had built the university, then it has disappeared. That was somebody was saying like that. How can a university disappear when there's only grass? So there was some mismatch in the way they were applying, especially in the education system. And I've always said, Mr. President, and I liked what you said, investing in your own people who are your greatest asset. If I were you, sir, out of the way you have done in our education system, that free education, I could have gone to tell you, go and sleep. The greatest asset of any country, they will tell you, it is its own people. South Korea had nothing. Just to illustrate that, South Korea in the 60s and Zambia, we had the same GDP, ourselves with all the mineral resources. When they were evaluated in the next 4 decades, South Korea beat us 4 times in terms of GDP. What was the comparison? The comparison were enrollment ratios. As South Korea's enrollment ratios were going up, ours were going down. Now, we go into South Korea's GDP 54 times. They invested in their own people, they had nothing. And hence, you cried and called to say that we must have free education. And let me also say this. 263 million children are not in school worldwide. 100 million of those are in Africa. Then I said to this statistician in Rome, remove 2 million so that we remain 98 million, because Zambia has covered 2 million. So therefore, when we set our goal towards our own people, we are not mistaken. If you want to invest in mines, invest in education so that you have metallurgists. If you want to invest in agriculture, invest in education so that you have soil scientists. The equation is clear. Now, let me remind ourselves, 35 years ago, Professor Mwaluka had this to say, and I think it also relates to other universities. He said this: University of Zambia degrees are not easy to obtain. Even the tough ones must keep afloat in order to see the show. I hope we are keeping afloat to see the show. Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, let me just say, colleagues, a question was asked what we are doing in Northwestern Province. Your Excellency, my name is Felix Mutati, and fortunate that you have given me the job to be Minister of Technology and Science. Your Excellency, regarding Northwestern Province, yes, this year we don't have a budget for infrastructure to create a TVET institution. So what we have done, Your Excellency, is that working with Lumwana Mine, we have already started construction of a technical college in Kalumbila that will address, first of all, the key mining challenges and other skills. And the construction, Your Excellency, as we stand, is already underway. And beyond that, Your Excellency, we shall look at 2025 to see if government will have the headroom to be able to deliver a technical college at Northwestern Province. Your Excellency, allow me to just also deal with one of the questions that was raised regarding innovation, what we are doing with the youths in terms of innovation. I think the starting point, my dear youths, is that you see opportunity in problems. You have creative minds, you have innovative minds. Nothing from a youth perspective is impossible. And there are 5 things that we are doing in this regard, Your Excellency. The first thing that, Your Excellency, you have already referred to. You said we needed to address the access issue for the youth to be able to be given the opportunity to get into TVET colleges. And by introducing CDF, Your Excellency, the total number of students that have got in various TVET colleges has moved from 34,000 2.5 years ago to 96,000. So that is addressing the access issue. So CDF is working. And we are also, Your Excellency, have a small budget which is dealing with issues around equipment to address the issues of quality of education. Tied to that, Your Excellency, out of the 27 TVET institutions, we have connected 27 so that we can be able to deliver the skills using technology. We only have 1 left out of 28. So this is what we are doing. Your Excellency, we have also created a fund, the Science, Technology and Innovation Fund, where we give grants to youth innovators, on a competitive basis. And this, you'll be amazed, Your Excellency, regarding the amount of innovation that these kids can compete for. It is incredible. The amount may not be so large, but for us it's the spirit of competition that is encouraging, and we are going to do more. Number 3, Your Excellency, again, the question was raised by John from CBU on the issue of innovation. Only a few weeks ago, working with our cooperating partners, we were able to launch what is called the Unipod. This is an innovation hub which has been sponsored by the UN. And when we went there with the Assistant Secretary General to CBU, we were just amazed with the number of innovation at CBU that were shown to us, Your Excellency, including the potential to create an electric vehicle. Crude as it may be, but that was there. Including the use of our minerals to create batteries. That is the level of innovation. Including the using of various materials to create finished products using gold, etc., etc. That is the level of innovation that there is with the youth. And thanks, to the UN, it's working wonders. Again here, supported by the private sector, Liquid, they have delivered internet free of charge to the Unipod. So we are moving, Your Excellency. And as the UN head said earlier on, more is to come. We will not announce it now, but more is to come. The third thing, Your Excellency, we're doing, and I've seen the MD for Zanacom. With the MD for Zanacom, they have an innovation hub in Zanaco building, where youths again are exposed to opportunity to move ideas into output. Again, working with the private sector. And I saw Sunny Zulu, Stanchart. Again, providing funding to the youths, working with us, Your Excellency, converting and supporting the youths to be able to translate their ideas into outputs. So Sani Mukwandi, the things that you are doing to help government to translate ideas into value, we are grateful. And without exception, Your Excellency, there are many more private sector partners that we're working with. Your Excellency, the last one that I wanted to say is the HH Innovation Hub, which you may recall. A couple of months ago, you gave $1,000 to youths from various universities to assist them with their innovation. And we are now creating an innovation hub to be based here in Lusaka, where the youths will be able again to explore their ideas. So with you, Your Excellency, I see no limits. The limit will be the appetite and desire for you, the youths, to seize the opportunity. And my message to you is seize the opportunity. And we're here to open the doors for you. Thank you.
So thank you, Pilato. Thank you, Minister Sekalima. Thank you, Minister Mutati, for your contributions. And I think, Minister Mutati, you touched on question number, part of question number, hang on, I think technical schools, but Johnstone's CB University, the need for innovation, supporting innovation. You asked that question, so we will take that as dealt with. Of course, we tagged on the issue of the ambulance. I think we'll leave that to the ministry to deal with, away from the question and answer session. They will take it. That's mundane, that's too small. It's an obvious issue. So I think the minister will look into that and be able to address that. Nipa, is that Nipa? Nipa, your bus is ready. I promise you the bus, your bus is ready. Oh, there you are, your bus is ready. But that one, the minister will look into that. Levy, deliver the bus. Yeah. All right, guys. I said to you, this is not a platform for competition. It's a platform to work together. And I think I want you to have the spirit of teamwork, the spirit of supporting each other. Let me tell you a small story. When we were at Unza as monks, we had friends at NRDC. Their diet was better than us at Unza at NRDC because they were farming milk and everything. So our friends at NRDC would invite us for lunch and we'll leave Unza meals and rush to NRDC. Partnership, working together. So Unza, Mulungushi, Levi Mwanawasa, Copper Belt University, and all right, and others. And others. Let me just give you a duty, a job, a duty, not a job, a role. It's a job of all the public universities, all the private universities, Lusaka University, Rusangu, Catholic University. All of you must take a responsibility that as a student at a university, you must look out to pull one student at another college, assist one student at another college to succeed in the college they are in. That is the duty I'm giving you. Then you begin to learn the importance of leadership. Given an opportunity to be at a university, help another student elsewhere to pull through. You are quiet. I expect you to accept that responsibility. So, leadership starts at an early age. So that's the role I'm asking you to play, in addition to your own responsibilities. Let me see how we proceed. I'm saying to the Minister, we need to finish this session quickly and do something else. The issue of, hang on, guys. Let's be organized. Let's be organized. The issue of Humphrey, among the Central Province measures to streamline bureaucracy and ease of doing business, you are spot on. That's where ZDA comes in, Zambia Development Agency, Ministry of Commerce. That's where Cabinet Office comes in, Public-Private Dialogue Forum, which is PPDU. That's where the Presidential Delivery Unit comes in. We are conscious of those bureaucratic issues. This morning, if you listen to me when I was addressing Parliament, I said with the drought, we want to make sure that we invest in energy, we invest in food production, irrigation, and nothing should stop us from achieving that. Nothing should stand in our way, such as lengthy processes to approve water rights. WAMA. We don't want to hear about that. The President is very clear. We will not tolerate any bureaucratic processes standing in the way of achieving easy of doing business, facilitation in doing business, including ZEMA. Why should it take 10 months to assess whether we can put a 5 megawatts power station solar? Why? It must happen on a one page. The power purchase agreement must be happening on one page. The rest is detail. 3 key things: technical capability to deliver, 2, financial capability, 3, tariff. Once you agree these things, the power purchase agreement must be given without delay. So I want to agree with what you've said. The bureaucracy in CDF, we are cleaning up. The bureaucracy in CEC, we are cleaning up. Other than the issue of limited funds, we know there are limited funds, but we're cleaning up that. And I say to you here, as we unresolve, disentangle ourselves from this debt mountain, which was created by others, very strange behavior. Some people have very strange behavior. They created the debt mountain. We as UPND are cleaning up that debt mountain. Then they climb a mountain and say, oh, HH has failed to resolve the debt mountain. Anyway, why did you go and borrow the money, which you didn't need to borrow, and you wasted the money? Me, I'm solving the problem. You are making noise outside. Learn to say thank you. This is the time we as a nation must work as one, to resolve the debt restructuring. And I want to thank all our partners who have been very supportive in this debt restructuring, and it will create headroom for us once we've resolved it. And that headroom means that we can put more money in CEC, more money in CDF, more money in the agricultural credit window, more money in the government financing instrument, which we are delivering resources from 19% to 9%. CDF loans are 5%. The credit window, the banks are here. They've been able to scale the interest rates from the high commercial rates to subsidized rates under the agricultural credit window. We're working together, private sector, public sector. So I want to say to you, your comment is right, and I'm asking you that as part of the deliverables for this Youth Indaba, can you checklist, all of you now, any other issues that I may not be able to address, we may not be able to address today, write a note, pass it to the organizers, the ministry, and we'll look at all those issues that you bring forward in an organized way. You know, we're trying to bring the country in a bit of some order. There's too much chaos around here. Orderliness, methodical way of doing things. So I want to suggest that other issues you may have, just put a note, Minister, maybe PSs, we can do some box where the colleagues drop in the issues they have. Because some may not even be able to ask questions. There's so many of them, but we can create an opportunity for them to slot in their questions, their concerns. And for you who are listening here, if you have an answer to some of the questions, even those that are not asked, but you know they affect the youth, write an answer and put it in the box. Same box. Just write an answer, write a position, write your view, write a suggestion, and we'll pull all this together as part of the deliverables and the outcomes of this workshop. That's some homework, isn't it? Good homework. Let's do that. Right, so Humphrey, we're done with you. Ian Banda, part of your question on supporting the youth to be the change agents that they should be, you raised one issue on disabilities. This government is supporting a lot of disabilities, those who are afflicted with disabilities, a lot. In fact, if you look at the appointments, we're making sure that we look at those colleagues that live with disabilities. There are a number of them in the commissions. Mr. Kangwa, you can attest to that. And he and I and other people sit and say, when the appointments we made, you say, where are the women? Where are the youth? Where are those who live with disabilities? He's there. We work quietly behind the scene. Marshall is there, we do that. So we'll continue doing that. For example, the head of the, the remuneration, where Kawatu is, a Monuments Commission. The Monument Commission, we deliberately decided that we'll put the head of the Monument Commission who is differently abled there. In the Civil Service, Public Service, Civil Service Commission, and a lot of other commissions were brought in those that live with disabilities. But I think the weakness of our government, we are not communicating. We are not communicating enough. We have a weakness there. We need to communicate to our citizens and our youth, for that matter. So that deals with Banda, Ian Banda, our colleague. Eston Sinzelu, constitutional reforms, limiting the term of office of councillors, MPs, PSs. They shouldn't serve for too long. That's the message. So we can allow the youth to take up the jobs. Who would like to answer this question? My colleagues, who wants to answer this question? Okay. All I can say to you, you have made a good point. There's a limit at the presidency. You know the presidency is the chief servant. And the Constitution creates obligation on the president to serve 2 terms. And we must stay with that. We must stay with that. But the question being asked that why don't we put a term limit for parliamentarians, for ministers, for other government jobs? I think what I can say now is that we'll look into that. We'll take in that and work with it. You know why ministers don't want to answer that question? Because they are affected by that. That's why they're all shy. None is willing to, but we'll look into that matter. I see the logic, but we must also ensure that experience is brought to bear. In any business, you want fresh blood, you want young, fresh blood, you want experience as well, you want skills, you want to benchmark, number 4. These are all important to make the business successful. And I can use a small bit of experience on my part. I told you earlier on, some of the partners I went into business with, I look back and said that was a good decision. Because this guy is strong in this area, I do this thing, they do that thing. We need a partnership, we need composite skills in a team for us to deliver. But good point, you're taking your point. Gibson Zulu, 1999 retirees have not been paid yet. Okay, I will answer this right away. All I can do to you, any one of you seated here, Gibson included, this government took over and found retirees who had not been paid 20 years back. We have paid a greater majority of those. In 2 years, we have paid a greater majority of those. It was our campaign promise. We have largely delivered on that promise. But there will be 1 or 2 we are not aware of, like you are saying. So I want to return that comment to you to say, Gibson Zulu, submit in that box I'm talking about the names of those people you're talking about who have not been paid. And we'll look into that. We will assess whether they truly are government employees, because sometimes there's a misunderstanding that there is an institution which is not really a responsibility of government and retirees have not been paid, but generically we say government has not paid the retirement benefits. So we'll look at the details of who those mothers, aunties of ours are who have not been paid. This government does not take pride in having retirees who have not received their money. Once we cleared the backlog, the Minister of Finance will tell you that now in 3 months, somebody retires in 3 months, we get them paid their retirement benefits. We've done very well. But we don't talk about it again. In 2.5 years, we've been able to dismantle this mountain. So let me return to a point. Any one of you seated here today, you are aware of somebody who worked for government, has not been paid, but they retired, they've not been paid, submit, put a note, just put a note in that box. And please, let's create that box. PSs, send your staff to create that box. Just one box. You will separate the content afterwards. So that's the commitment. That's how direct we are as a government. And the Minister of Youth said one thing. This government, this president does not walk away from challenges, no matter what the challenge is. This president, this government will confront the drought head on and turn it into an opportunity for us to change our country's agriculture forever, to drive it to irrigation, working with our partners, banks, local institutions, good people, working with the global system, working with the educational institutions to pick the best precision in irrigation, the best, if you like, crop husbandry, animal husbandry methods. We are here to learn. We open our arms as a government. We don't know everything. We invite others to work with us who have knowledge, experience. I hope you've heard what I'm saying. I hope you've heard what I'm saying. We want you, the youth. Someone shouted land there. Definitely. We want you to have land. The example I gave you, just 1 hectare. We want to support you. We're working with those banks and others to make sure that those who got credit through the credit window, but God did not allow us to have the rain, partially because of climate change, will be protected so that they don't lose their assets, so that they can live to farm another day. They will live to farm another day. Insurance policies will be invoked. Where there is no insurance policy, the government will mop money away from wastage and sit with those banks and say, how do we support the banks so they don't lose? How do we support the farmer so that the farmer does not lose? So we can farm tomorrow. In Parliament this morning, I said this year or last year, this Minister of Agriculture, Mtolo Piri, took me to Nyimba in Eastern Province to launch a planting season. And there I declared that this is the last time I'll be launching a planting session, because there will be no longer anything called a planting season launch. It's like I knew what was coming. I said we'll be planting every month. We'll be harvesting every month. So I don't have to wait for a particular month. And that is what you will see going forward. So back to you, colleagues. I have thrown a challenge. Please come forward with data. Data, information is critical. Bring correct information to the table. Don't use what you have read in the social media. I've already told you that sometimes social media doesn't give us the true positions. People post and repost, and over 2 days it becomes like a fact, like it's a truism, because so many people have reposted. No. Check, verify. Is that factual? When it is, we'll look at it. Ruth Ngoma, Copper Belt mechanism to monitor effectiveness of the youth policy. Very good point. Ruth, where is Ruth? Ulikwi? Ruth, ulikwi? Alikwi? Oh, thank you, Ruth. Most appreciated. I do believe the Minister and the PSs can address that issue. I do believe they will have incorporated. If they haven't incorporated, your point will be taken on board to enhance the monitoring and control mechanisms to assess the effectiveness of the policy. Thank you, Ruth. Thank you very much. Minister, PSs, staff in the ministry you've had. That's an action point. And Ruth would like to get your number, put it through the box. Put it in the box so that this team will come back to you to alert you of what the situation is. I know why others are excited. I know, Niziba. I know. But she just may be the lucky one, eh? She may be the lucky one. Thank you. What else? Johnstone's Coverbelt University. I said Minister Mutati touched on technology issues, and also I cleared the ambulance issue. I think the Minister will deal with that. The last question, Audrey Chitongo, if I got the name right. Loan applications, requests are made. Who recommended you? I would like the banks to answer that question. I think I understand what that is meant. A recommendation. Let me not preempt what the bankers will say, but really there's something called KYC. And I'll end here. I want the banks, two banks, Mukwandi and Sani Zulu, to share. I hope you understood what the question is. Why asking questions? We'll come to you. Why asking questions? Who recommended you? Questionnaire when you want to get a loan. KYC, there could be other things. Minister of Agriculture will be the last one to wrap up clarifications around there. Ladies first, Mkwandi, then Son, then the Minister.
Thank you, Mr. President. In terms of the way that we are running with the program for the Agriculture Financing Facility, we require a recommendation so that we can know who we're dealing with. I'm not sure whether you're reacting to my statement or to something else. Vayuthi, are you going to listen to me? Okay, let's talk. Thank you. My name is Mukwandi Chibesakunda. I'm Chief Executive, Zanaco. And I would like to just emphasize that start with your plan now. Who do you want to be in future, in 50 years? I might just be 50 years older than you, gentlemen over there. So, between the I think 5 banks partnered with the Ministry of Agriculture towards the end of last year to provide financing for agriculture. And for people to be able to access that financing, there was a process that was put in place between the district office and the banks and the Ministry of Agriculture. The reason why we ask for information is so that we know who you are. There are international standards called Know Your Customer, KYC, that are required for us to know that we're dealing with a person who they say they are. And I'm sure you'll agree that you don't want us to deal with somebody. Someone can get your NRC, go to the bank and say that it's me and get a loan, and it's not that person, right? So we want to verify and make sure that the recommendations are appropriate, and if you do have a piece of land that you're going to till, we need to also verify that that land is yours or that you have the access to that land. So that process is the process that was referred to earlier on, that we ask for a letter, we ask for a record between ourselves and the ministry staff on the ground. We have decentralized this process, so you don't have to come to Lusaka. Wherever it is that you are, go to the district agriculture office and they will be able to verify on our behalf. Jointly with the bank on the ground, we're able to then verify. So I'd like, within that process that is going to be put in place, for us to also have access to that information regarding the actual facts. Who did you go to? And what was the actual outcome of that? If you didn't get your loan, we're now going into winter cropping, and as ZANACO, we're actually looking at irrigation, being able to dam, and also mechanization, and even solar, so that we can participate in this winter cropping. So come to us as ZANACO through the process that has been alluded to by the President, so that we can support you jointly with the Ministry of Agriculture. Thank you.
Obviously, the mics have to be adjusted because of height. Mr. President, thank you so much, and thank you for the acknowledgement. My name is Sunny Zulu. Allow me to introduce myself. I am a metallurgical engineer from the University of Zambia. Who happens to be the Chief Executive Officer of Standard Chartered Bank. I'm also a pastor. I'm also a doctorate student. I'm an author, and I'm also an entrepreneur. I will answer this question in 3 quick parts. The first one, it is really just to share what we have been doing as a private sector and the corporate world as banks, and there's still work to be done. We have started a journey of removing some of the restrictions that have been there for years. A lot of times we have seen people excluded because of age. Whether we are underwriting a loan or we are hiring, if you look at the adverts these days, we don't have an age limit. We don't have a gender limit. And Mr. President, I must mention that we have also started removing those 10 years, 15 years experience, because we need to have a blend. I'll not repeat what my colleague has already answered ably, but I'll go to my next point. I am taking this privilege, Mr. President, just to add also just a few points like we were charged to some of the questions that were asked. So some of the points that I'll give, they'll cover some of the other questions as well. I want to give a charge and a challenge to the youth. Rise up and take your positions. There are a lot of times when positions that are meant for the youth, they have been taken up by old people who are grandparents, and they call themselves a youth chairperson. It is time for you. You might not be invited in the room, but it is time for you to rise up as a youth and challenge and say, why can I not be a youth deacon? Why cannot I not be the youth chairperson? A youth, a proper youth. I'm going to go on to my third point, and this is my last one. If we are going to be the change, if we are going to make a difference, we need to start thinking differently. Do not think like everybody else is thinking. And challenge some of the things that have been accepted for years. And I'll give some quick examples and I'll sit. Number one, we have been told that you should never, ever, ever give up. Whatever the case, never ever give up. I am here to tell you that if you have tried, you have tried and you have tried and you have tried, it is okay to give it up and try something else. There is no shame in recognizing something that is not working, and you should do it with pride and say, I have tried this. However, never give up on your dream. You can give up on a method, but don't give up on your dream. Number two, you have been told that you should be able to clean your heart and the inside. Youths, I want to tell you, if you go for interviews with your heart, you might not get that job. God looks at the heart, but man looks at the outside. The interviewers are looking at how you have packaged yourself. I am challenging you as young people to begin to relook at how you're packaging yourself, how you're carrying yourself, even when you're applying for those loans. No one will give you a loan if you have not packaged yourself. I got my third one. We have all been taught about work-life balance, and we try to do a little bit at work and a little bit at home. I have been working for over 21 years. I have not seen a successful person that does not work hard. I want to tell you, if you are an 8 to 5 worker, you might never get to the top. If you have followed His Excellency the President, follow him and how he works. He doesn't work from 8 to 5. If you look at my colleague here, Mkwandi, she doesn't work from 8 to 5. Work hard. If you are only going to be trying to balancing it and working a little bit here, a little bit there, you might not get to the top. I'm so sorry, but that is the truth. My last point. This one is also something that I am very passionate about. We have been told that think outside the box. And that assumes that there is a box. I want to leave you with this thought. There is no box. Never ever try to, because sometimes the answer is right where you are. The solutions to our challenges, they are not out there of this country. They are right where you are. Just begin to know that there's no box, there's no limitation. And on a light note, if you're looking for your life partner might be sitting right where you are. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Very inspirational from the bankers, isn't it? Now let me tell you another story from another banker, but it's not in Zambia. In Africa, we have a bank called Africa Development Bank. And the head of that bank is a man called Adesina. My name is Ruben Mtolo, Minister for Agriculture. You might be happy to know that I was in Kalingalinga 126 for a long time. Thank you. Thank you. So let me continue the story of the banker. Viva my youth, viva! Thank you. Let me continue the story of the bankers because of the inspiration of the two. So I was talking of the banker Adesina. He is the head of the Africa Development Bank. It's what he said that I want to convey to you. He said, the billionaires of tomorrow, the millionaires of tomorrow in Africa are going to come from the agricultural sector. They will be farmers. What this means, as we sit here, we can be doctors, we can be anything, But go into farming, you will be different to your friends. In a very, very short period of time, you will have lots of money. Look at Mkushi. Look at Mkushi in Zambia. That's where you get the people with planes. They have a tractor and they have a plane. They have a BMW and they have a tractor and they have a plane. They start with the tractors. Then the others come later. What am I saying? Agriculture is the way to go in Zambia. Let me answer your question now, the question which was asked by Audrey. Audrey said, and my colleagues did allude to that, who recommends you? Let me make it easier for you. The civic leaders in Zambia can recommend for you. It could be a councillor, it could be a mayor, it could be a head teacher, it could be a pastor. Anyone can recommend for you. All we want is that if you say, I'm from Msekera in Chipata, indeed you must be from Msekera in Chipata, and someone who knows you in Msekera should sign for you. That's what that recommender does. And I think my colleagues, the two bankers, made it very easy. A lawyer can recommend for you. Anybody in authority can recommend for you. And even a traditional leader can recommend for you. But don't pay anything for the recommendation. It's supposed to be a free attribute. As I go to sit, I want to say to you, you heard the president talk of the debt burden. We were supposed to be paying $750 million every month towards the loan. Who can afford that? We are grateful to Bali. We are grateful to the president. That has been reduced now to $75 million every month. So what are we going to do with the other money? And that is my point. It is going into agriculture, it is going into school education, etc. And in agriculture, that is why we are adding 4 more products to the credit window. The credit window just had fertilizer and seed, but now we are going to add farm power, plows and ngombes. We are going to add tractor power. All this is under mechanization. The second thing we are going to add is irrigation equipment. So now, under the credit window, working with the banks here, we are now going to be giving money for you to buy irrigation facilities, simple irrigation facilities, not complicated, so that we can plant 2 or 3 times on our 1 acre, 1 hectare. We are also going to allow, on the credit window, aquaculture. Farming for fish, farming of fish, we are going to be allowing it now. And lastly, we are going to allow livestock onto the credit window. So it will be seed and fertilizer, farm power, irrigation, aquaculture, and livestock. I thank you.
Thank you very much. First, I'll start by thanking the President of the Republic of Zambia for not being scared of the young people. You are 1 in a million. I should repeat, other presidents, they are scared of the young people, but not our president. So, Mr. President, continue interacting with these young people. Just one important thing. We should know that without debt relief, I should repeat, it's about $750 million that is supposed to be paid. But with the debt relief, it's only $75 million. So that's why the President is always talking about how do we restructure because we are going to release more money now into what has been talked about. So let every Zambian, every youth support the vision of the president, because he understands after this all money is released into our economy, Zambia will never be the same. I thought I should mention. Having said that, Mr. President, I want also to emphasize the fact that young people, the Ministry of Youth, Sport and Arts, Mr. President, has landed in Mpolokoso, has landed in Pongwe, Copper Belt. We have also landed in Northwestern Province, in Mufumbo to be specific. How do we respond also to this challenge that we do have now? In the realignment of the budget, we may, Mr. President, take some of the resources on empowerment so that we put you in clusters, so that you are also taken to these settlement areas. We buy tractors so that you'll be able also to contribute to our food security. So I think it is important for the youth also to respond to this particular challenge, and very soon we'll come up with a plan as a ministry so that young people will also be able to be part of those that are making solutions to the food security in the country. Now, once again, this is the moment that we've been waiting for, where now the President of the Republic of Zambia will be able to launch the National Youth Policy. We now have time, Mr. President. Those that please, you can now bring the National Youth Policy so that the President now launches it. Mr. President, once again, we thank you most sincerely for availing yourself to us, the young people, to us, the young people, to us, the young people. Please, young people, avail yourselves also to the President. He's availing himself to you. Avail yourselves to the President. Kale kale ali bakopala. Kale kale. No mamule kwata consistency. Ndefu aka consistency. Ka consistency. Mwaka ibukisha. Ture kwa tenshi. Ture kwa tenshi. Aha, namukeshwa. So as we await our brothers and sisters who are bringing the National Youth Policy, I'm very excited. Today,
plan speaks to what Ruth was asking, because he said, how are we going to monitor the policy?
In fact, Mr. President, answering to what Kangwa talked about, in Ruth Kangwa, is it Ruth? It's Ruth. Having a good policy is one thing, Mr. President, and also implementing it is another. What we've done now, we also have what we are calling the implementation plan. So the implementation plan is going along with the policy. So I think we are speaking to what Ruth talked about. Thank you, Cabinet Office, and also thank you everyone who has really helped us launch this particular and important policy.
Warm round of applause, young people. This is your policy.
Thank you very much, colleagues. The Minister has delegated to the President to officially announce that the youth policy is now launched. And for me, it's really a great day. And to mix with you, to be with you for the time we've been together and the issues you have raised. The ministry, cabinet office, everybody, partners, banks, UN system, other businesses, universities, all of them, all of the universities. Now I won't say Unza, Mulungush and others. I'm saying all the universities, all the colleges at different levels. And more importantly, the youth of Zambia. Please go through this policy, read it, discuss it, extract components that you want to run with. And our government and our partners will work hard to support you to realize your dream. You heard the bankers. Let me echo what they've said. No one succeeds by chance. Hear me out. No one succeeds by chance. No one. I've never seen any. So the old habits of Tantamene will not make us achieve. Queue up, and the money is dished to you. You must ask the question, where is that money coming from? Is it sustainable? No. That's why you have a debt mountain. The money was borrowed, dished out, stolen, and then you were singing songs. The youth, stop singing songs for destructive activities. Sing songs for progressive activities. Don't sing praise songs for destructive activities because it catches up with all of us. The cough, the fever will catch up with all of us. But you are beautiful people, young minds, energy, you are good people. This government will help, will support, it's not even helping, will carry its duty, its responsibilities to support you. Sani said, there's no box. Mukwandi said, you have to aim. You have to work towards your aim. Working for yourself is not bad. It's a good thing. Agriculture, you've heard what the minister said here. I want to echo what he said. First, let me clarify this issue of debt. In 10 years' time, without debt relief, this country was going to pay $7.5 billion of debt service. $7.5 billion of debt service. Now, with debt restructuring, over 10 years, we will only pay 750. Just put context here. Yearly, without debt recovery, debt restructuring, will be required to pay $750 million. Do your numbers, 10 years, it's 7.5 billion. But with debt relief, every year we're only supposed to pay $75 million. Now, that relief, that difference is what we want to bring in the economy, to support the youth, to support your dream, so you can become a farmer. I'm back to the minister. The Minister of Agriculture is right. All book writers, including those in Silicon Valley, in America, where research is a daily menu, are saying the next set of billionaires in the world are coming from agriculture. He also said something, you didn't hear him, I think you were busy talking. In this country, I know it myself, that most of you think farming is dirty, especially young people. Move away from that mentality. The only sector, as the minister said, that has tractors parked there, disc harrows parked there, they have planters parked there, and if you check on their farms, look carefully, you'll find a runway. There are also planes parked. But the planes were bought out of disc harrows, tractors, irrigation equipment. There is no other business sector that has more private planes in this country than the farming sector. So why would you call farming dirty? Lupia lulia, doshmax, back pockets, right? I go to my ranch and I see social media ridiculing me, including my competitors in politics. He thinks this country is about cows. Really? You mean that? You mean that? All my children went to school through those cows. And when I became president, you elected me. Thank you to you. When you elected me president, you made me your servant, chief servant. Mr. Kangwa there told me, Mr. President, now, you still have a child in school? I said, yes. Now the government is supposed to pay for you. I said, Kangwa, what did you say? He says, no, government is supposed to pay for you under the conditions of service. I said, no one pays school fees for my children except me. We must be proud to meet our obligations to our children, our family members, to the youth. This government will work hard to meet your obligations, but you must walk first. Take the first steps as a youth. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. And that, in all effect, brings us to the end of the official launch, but it is important to highlight that there is an innovation partner in Zamtel that is there to invite people home into the Innovation Hub, and Zamtel is a partner to the youth. Added to that, Mr. President, you'll be happy to know that the suggestion box that you had highlighted has been prepared in earnest, and the youth will be able to ask further questions and place their suggestions in the box. My name is Kamiza Shikula. It's been an honor and a privilege being your master, sir. The box will be made available. It's impossible to miss. If you could raise it a bit higher for everybody to see it. Look for the white box that says question and answer box, and you'll be able to find it. Apparently we need a truckload, so please be sure to suggest those suggestions and also add those questions. Thank you very much. My name is Kamiza Chikula. It's been an honor and a privilege being your master of ceremony. I trust we'll meet again, but if we don't see each other on God's good earth, I hope we'll see you in heaven. Please stand for the national anthem.